CarniVLOG number 31. Happy day today. I used to say good morning, good evening, and then I realized some of you are asleep right now because you are taking your turn with the moon and we're taking our turn with the sun. All right, I got some kids about to come in here and eat this awesome breakfast I made them. Let me show you. Yum, look at this. 2 little sandwiches for these boys. I went to wake my kid up and there was another kid in his room asleep. My teenage boys, they sneak people in this house and I find them in the morning. Okay, I've sent the 2 teenagers out the door. I've still got some other kids asleep. I'm making this right now because this is my CarniVLOG update, and it's a big update. I'm super excited to have finally gotten to this point of high-fat carnivore. In fact, I'm like high, medium, and low now. I'm high, which is what keto is, high fat, moderate protein, and low carb. And I was no carb, but now I'm carb. So it just feels right. I have a Tigger personality. I have an extreme type personality. I want things figured out yesterday, and I want to get 55 things done today. Editing this video now, I want to compartmentalize and organize and create capacity for more, which is why I didn't explain this part. It's why this is good for me. It's why it feels right for me that I have landed in this not extreme way of eating. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some would think it's super extreme. But instead of 0 of anything, which is how my brain would like things to be, one extreme or the other, I always feel right about things. I typically feel right about things when the answer is somewhere in the middle. I don't want to lead myself through this life. I will derail myself in a heartbeat. I know that good and well. It's why Greg and I are a wonderful match, because he is like Mr. Moderate and I'm not Mrs. Moderate. So that's why I failed to explain. I failed to tie that right in there. I'm listening as I'm doing these dishes. And it's because of my extreme personality that I'm at peace with no longer being 0 anything. Avocados have about 12 grams of carbohydrates. Those are the only carbohydrates I'm wanting to consume at this point. And it's enough and it's not 0. And that just feels right for me and my personality. Kelly Hogan is my 0 carb life, and clearly that's working for her. You go, girl, with your 6-pack abs. You go, just run. I will be the first person to cheer people on when they find what works for them. And I am constantly telling people what's going to work for each of us is as individual as each of us, because we're different human beings with different life experiences, different what's it called? Psychological pathologies. I believe that's the word I'm looking for. We're all at such different, we have such different histories mentally with just our own psychology and the way we see the world and the way we frame things, and different landmines we need to watch out for individually. And we're also in different stages of life as far as biology, menopause, perimenopause, no menopause, maybe even like someone who's 15, 16 that's been starving themselves and needs to get their cycle back so that they can continue growing and developing, and then by the grace of God, maybe someday have children. Anyways, we're literally all on our own unique journeys, and we can help each other and cheer each other along. That's why I'm glad to have landed in this high, medium, low instead of high, medium, no. Just seems really good and healthy for this brain of mine. All right, back at it. And I want to compartmentalize and organize and create capacity for more. Someone said the other day, Emily, Greg and I were talking to this little boy that came over to our house. We were talking to his parents, and we were laughing about all these kids and how we just added 2 more and blah, 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 blah. And they said, oh, you thrive on chaos. And I laughed and I was like, I might have to agree with that. But I thought about it a little bit more later and I thought, no, really, I thrive at, which is chaotic for sure, but I thrive operating at max capacity. And once I'm at max capacity, I aim to assimilate and accumulate and adapt and adjust. Well, then that creates space. And I have to be careful I don't fill that space or I'll send our family in the wrong direction. We have to let the Lord fill the space. And He does. He does. Literally, we added onto this house starting a year ago and we're not finished. The painters are still coming Thursday to do a second coat. Someday they'll do the kitchen. Look, this was over a year ago. Do I want this white, this white, this white, or this white? I want the whitest white. It's one of those. It's called Ultra. I don't even know. Someday they'll paint this room. I hope they will. I'm going to ask them Thursday if they will. That'll be above and beyond what our whole contract was. But about a year ago, we started renovating. This house went from 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom to 6 bedrooms and 4 full bathrooms. That is a lot of Clorox wipes. But Greg and I are kind of cracking up and we're really amazed. And I've heard him tell people that God filled our guest bedroom with 2 little children before we ever had a single guest stay in that room. So as we have more space, we find ourselves finding ways to fill it with whatever God leads us into. Automaticity creates capacity. When we can automate things and we can habit stack. So for instance, I want to be in the habit of tearing off my one, this is so tiny. This is about the tiniest thing you could do every day is pull one piece of paper off of a stack of papers. And I have these little calendars hanging in my bedroom, counting down my 200 days with Karen, which by the way, Karen, let's be thinking about our next 2,000 days together. What are we gonna do? I'm teasing. Karen's a blessing. And I told her the other day, I said, isn't it amazing how you and I started off on beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and it's been so much more than that. It's led us here to this high fat and so much more beyond that, because Karen is my sister in Christ and she prays for me and I am benefiting from her prayers. I also have a calendar that's my 3,000 day commitment to carnivore. It's interesting how even the habit of tearing a piece of paper off has to be implemented and practiced or it won't happen. And there's a lot of days where I have to get this little bitty pocket calendar out and figure out what day I'm on so that I can catch my calendars up. If I want to tear them off, I need to tie that in with something I'm already doing daily. And I'm in a current 100-day challenge. I have a video called, I Need You. I need at least one of you. That's a recent video to join me. And I did this 100-day make my bed commitment and I've habit stacked. I have tied in one habit with the other. So now making my bed is now the trigger. It's the cue for me to tear those pieces of paper off. And we don't realize that we already have it stacked. You don't realize this, but I guarantee you when you take a shower, you probably wash one leg and then the other and then your hair, and then you probably do it the exact same way almost every single day. We don't just stand there and go, all right, my kids do. I say, are you clean? No, not yet. Well, what do you still need to wash? Okay, I've washed my ears. I've washed my elbows. I've washed my feet. I still need to wash my knees. They haven't quite automated that yet, but it's so cute, the little body parts that they still have left to wash. When we get ready for the day, most of us typically, one thing cues the next. It's like dominoes falling over. It's automated. And if we can habit stack and weave more into these routines, then we can weave more into these routines. And that's what I am pretty excited to share that I am now vlogging daily for 24 days. GETTINGTHROUHGWITHDRAWAL. Getting through withdrawal. Because October 2nd, 5th, and 7th, I ingested the very thing I'm addicted to. Sugar and flour. I'm addicted to sugar, flour, and binging, and I just wasn't able to binge like I once was. Fantastic! My body has resensitized, and I don't have the tolerance I once did. And I don't want to build it back up. I easily could. Actually, I'm on a new journey with a new goal, a new focus. You know, I tell people, you got to make sure you're running towards, here's some psychology for you. You got to make sure you're running towards something, not just away. So if you're trying to get away from alcohol or away from cigarettes, you have to have a new focus. Otherwise, I tell people, you might try to be running away from something like a bad relationship, which is what all this addiction is. I've been in a bad relationship with sugar and flour for a long time, but literally a bad relationship. If you just try to run away from it, you might run into something worse. There has to be an intentional positive space in our lives, not just a default. We're going to default naturally into things that aren't great for us, like sleeping in too late, or staying up too late, or eating too much garbage, or watching too much TV, or consuming too much of the news, or spending too much time on social media. If we just relax, we're going to relax into things that are not good for us. That's our human nature. So we have to be intentional with a focus. Hebrews 12, 1-2. I fix my eyes on Jesus. Let us run with endurance, throwing off everything that hinders us, keeping our eyes fixed on Jesus. There it is. Those are some of my favorite Bible verses. Run with endurance. Okay, and if we're running with endurance, that means we're enduring things, and we can endure hardship. We can. It's okay to feel it and experience it. Jesus is the perfect example of endurance. He endured so much. He endured mockery. He endured physical abuse. He endured so much. The top of his cross had a little sign that read King of the Jews. That right there was just them mocking him, saying, if you really are the King of the Jews, then save yourself. And he decided, nope, instead of saving myself, I'll save you. Romans 10:10. It's today's verse. I'll link it here in a minute. Jesus was the ultimate example of enduring. We can run with endurance, throwing off everything that hinders us. And that should be pretty easy to identify. How does it make you feel when you sleep too late, stay up too late, consume too much news, consume too much alcohol, consume too much sugar and flour, too much fill in the blank? Throw off everything that hinders us, but then we've got to keep our eyes fixed. And yes, I highly recommend keeping your eyes fixed on Jesus Christ. Literally. Read the Bible. Listen to Christian music. And by the way, there's no such thing as Christian music. There's Christian lyrics. Go to Way FM. Get the app. It's free. Listen to Way FM. Let the Lord speak to you in these lyrics. But I also recommend here on earth keeping your eyes fixed on and focused on your goal, so that you're literally moving in a direction with intent and purpose. You're not running from something. We have to give ourselves do's, not just don'ts. Here's some psychology for you. This is child raising, child rearing, child teaching. This is special education stuff. I realized years ago we have to give kids do's, not just don'ts. If you tell a kid don't write on the couch, they'll write on the wall. When you tell someone don't do something, all you've done is narrowed out one thing. Give them a do. Don't write on the couch. Do write on this piece of paper. Don't consume sugar and flour. Do consume fatty meats. Don't build your sugar tolerance. Do build your fat tolerance, which is the whole point of CarniVLOG number 31. High fat. High fat. Get it? That's a pun. High fat. High fat. Hello, fat. So I'm so excited to get to this point. 2 teenagers out the door and a bunch of little kids that are not asleep. I just heard somebody do something. I better wrap this up. I'm so glad to get to this point in this journey because Karen has been illuminating the way. She's been leading the two of us. She's so steady and steadfast, and she's been going through Dr. Boz's carnivore, the keto, I'll link it below. No, I won't. I'll tell you here. Dr. Boz Keto Continuum. She's been going through this workbook. And as she was going through the workbook, I was working on my home inspection for the adoption, which has been a complete audit on my life, which was more stressful and more of a relief to get through than earning my master's degree. I didn't feel like I had the capacity in my life to focus quite on these macros and my glucose and my ketones and my whether or not I'm in ketosis. I felt like I was doing all I could do to stop at gas stations and get beef sticks instead of Snickers. Did I say gas stations? I feel like, what did I just say? I said gas stations. So I was doing about all I felt like I could do, but I stayed in this commitment with her, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, to the best of my ability. I'm still on it. I mean, we have never, that's what I love about this commitment. We give each other wiggle room and we hold each other accountable in such a loving and gracious way. But she has been just paving the way, and her focus has been really getting herself into ketosis, following this higher fat way of eating. So my only experience with higher fat has been like, I'm really craving sugar, and she's like, eat fat. So late at night, if I was really craving sugar, depending on my hormones or different issues or whatever, or different higher stress at times, just really struggling with a sugar craving, she would tell me to eat fat. And I would notice it would squash the fat. That was my only experience with high fat. I am now to the point where my goal is 80-20, and in this Getting Through Withdrawal series, I am documenting what I'm eating every single day. And then I'm also starting to put in at the tail end of the day what it looked like on my pie chart. And throughout the day, I tweak it. Audrey was asking me, do you write your food down the night before? No, because I'm home. I say home, quote unquote, because I'm hardly home. But I have flexibility during the day to like eat something, and then I can input it in my little app, and I can see where that puts me and how much more protein I could eat, or I can kind of play around with it. It's typically something to the effect of 1 big steak or 4 big burger patties, and then a bunch of fat, like a stick of butter and a full avocado and some egg yolks. It's so easy, and I feel amazing eating this way. Yes, I'm still adapting to this large amount of fat, but I've come a long way. My body can tolerate it so much more. Be patient with your body if you're doing this, and go at it gradually if you want. Or for the fun of it, don't go at it gradually and run exciting bathroom experiments. I don't know. Do what works for you. But actually, that's probably not great, because if you eat it and it goes straight through you, I suppose you're not getting the nutrition. I don't know. See, I'm telling you, my personality is sort of extreme. I'm always kind of like why do it gradually? Well, there are reasons. So anyways, I just wanted to share that I am now high fat carnivore. I'm on day 4 of it. I'm loving it. It's like it's not that I finally get it. It's that God has allowed me to get to this point on this journey, and we've made our way through so much. There are things I will never go into detail publicly that I've been experiencing, but like I've mentioned on the other vlogs where I vlog about this adoption journey, that someday I'll make those public. I've been involved in things lately where our safety is number 1 priority. And it should be safety first, butter second. First, stay alive. Then, consume a lot of fat. That's it for now. I love you all dearly. I will add that Romans 10:10 Way FM scripture that came to my email box this morning. If you want, go on Way FM and have them email you every morning. The email comes around 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's a graphic, and I can see it now. It's a church over on the left-hand corner with little windows, and the windows almost look like they're deep set because they're dark. They don't look like they have shutters. Up the top says Romans 10:10. I remember that because yesterday was October 10:10. I'm finding I have a bit of a photographic memory, which is very helpful at times. So if you're visual like me, get the email, get the visual, and then even screenshot it, copy it, paste it, let it be your wallpaper, or I challenge you to share it with one person every day. You could even warn them and say, hey, I'm going to send you this every day. And I guarantee there's people in your life that would benefit from it, that would love to hear from you daily and love to see the truth and the love. And his name is Jesus. God is love, 1 John 4:8. And Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, John 14:6. And God is Jesus, and Jesus is the Holy Spirit. Ding. That's it. All right. I was hoping, there it is. There's a little ray of sunshine. I love you dearly. I'm going to get back at it around here. Those right there is one of these right here. Yesterday, I wrote out 22 tasks that I wanted to complete. 10 I have to do on my own, 8 I need to do with all the kids, and 4 I need to do just with a couple different kids that I just need them for something specific. So I wrote them all down, and we're gonna draw from them. And I might get these dishes done right now while I edit this, so that when I draw the dish one, I'll say, that one's already done. So anyways, let's keep going. Let's, by the grace of God, stay motivated. And let's do that by having a focus. And right now my focus is high fat, moderate protein, low carb. I love you dearly. That's it for CarniVLOG number 31. Bye. I love you dearly. We'll talk again soon. Bye. Of high fat, look at these blocks of gold. That right there is gold. And you know what? In all seriousness, if everything collapsed, I would rather have, like, I don't know, the economy. I would rather have these than blocks of gold. That right there, that's gold.